Hi friends, good to see you again in this video. Louis Das from English Easy Louis channel. I hope you are all doing well and you should be doing well. Okay, what are we going to do in this video? As I had been mentioning you, as I had been telling you in my previous videos, we have already crossed half of the ocean in tenses. So we have begun to cross the second half of the ocean, which means all the active voice tenses, 12 voice tenses are over, and we have begun to start the second half of the tenses, which is known as in passive voice, passivation. So in the previous video, if you had watched completely, you would have known what is passivation is all about and what are the basic rules that we need to follow in order to change from active to passive. And this is going to be the continuation of that. And yesterday or in my previous video, if you had noticed, I told you about the changing of the pronouns. Apart from subject from the active voice become the object of the passive voice, and object in the active voice becomes the subject of the passive voice, adding preposition by in the passive voice, and writing all the verbs in past participle form of the verb in passive voice. I told you the representation or the role played by the pronouns are very, very important. And I was talking to you about the subjective, possessive and objective in singular as well as in plural usages of pronouns in sentences, especially in tenses, active voice and in passive voice. So unless we know these changes, we may find it difficult to change sentences from active to passive. So for your sake, I have just written on the board here, as I told you yesterday, how these pronouns are changed from active to passive. Just look at them. Just look at them, how they are changed from active to passive. See now, before we go into changing of active to passive, how these pronouns are changed from one form to the other, from nominative, possessive and objective. All these are known as singular. Look at this, they are all singular. Nominative, this is what I told you in my previous video, subjective. See, I, and you have the singular here and plural here. And you have the second person singular as well as plural here. See, and third person singular here, third person plural here. So depending upon the usages, the case changes. The verb, the noun also changes. Now look at that. If you have the subject for the first person, I, and in changing the passive voice, how does it become? As an objective case, me, or possessive, my, or mine. See, all these basic informations we must understand. First person plural, we. I told you in oral yesterday or in my previous video, and you have seen that. You can just go through this whenever you are free while you are watching my video. You can just go through that and then look how they are changed. So we, in possessive case, it becomes our and ours. And in objective case, it becomes us, us. Similarly, look at the second person here. Second person you, singular as well as plural. Your and yours. And objective, it remains as you. And in plural, see, you, your, yours, both singular and plural. And for objective, it remains as you. And for third person singular, he, she, it. Okay, so he, she, it. How does it change? For the possessive, his, hers, and its. And here, of course, objective, he becomes him, she becomes her, it remains as it. Come to plural, third person plural. Third person plural. See, they become their in possessive case, and in objective it becomes them. Theirs sometimes, and them also. So just have this in mind. Just have this in mind, and if you you can memorize all these things. Better for us is to memorize all these changes in pronouns. It will be certainly helping us a lot. It will be certainly helping us a lot. So it will certainly be helping us a lot while we change from active to passive. Okay, so let me rub this table here because I don't have much space to write and show you the examples. So just go through this. Remember the changes in the pronouns both in singular as well as in plural for different cases. How does a subject is changed into passive or passive to active or active to passive. Okay, so just remember this. Of course, you are free to go back to my video and watch whenever you like it. So for the time being, just remember this. These are the changes you must be very, very familiar with while you are changing from active to passive. Okay, shall I wrap this off? Good. You are all smart guys. Okay, now see. Now we come back to our business now. What's our business today? So we are going to begin from simple present tense onwards according to the rules. Along with the rules, we are going to change every sentence from every tense from active to passive. So for the time being and for today's session, today's interaction or today's discussion, I have taken simple present tense. So now simple present tense, I have written the formation here. So let me write this once again here so that it will be easy for you to see. Now let me write the formula first of all, because every tense has got a formula while changing from active to passive, simple present. Now we go by singular and plural, starting from first person singular plural, second person singular plural, and third person singular plural. Okay, I have written them already here, but since it is at the bottom of the board, it may not be visible to you. Just go through this. Look at that simple present tense formula. Now this formula, see I have written here, first person, singular, plural. Now this is in passive voice, of course. I will write the sentence in active voice, and then according to this rule, I will change the sentence and show you. Okay. Now all this is written in passive voice. Okay, because we are in passive voice now. So I will write and show you the active voice and active voice sentence, and then how it is going to be changed according to the rules that I have written here. Okay, so for the time being, just remain with the first person singular and plural. What is our subject first person plural? It could be I. But when it is changed to passive voice, I have generally written as subject. PPV stands for past participle form of the main verb. Past participle form of the main verb by and then subject of the active voice. So that is in simple present and singular. Now let me write a sentence here. See, let me write a sentence. I write a letter. I write a letter. Now simply we say this is in active voice. Simply we say that this is in active voice. One more thing that you must remember, before you start to change from active to passive, whether it is in active voice or in passive voice, first of all, you must be able to identify the subject, verb and the object. Then only you can follow the rules and regulations and change the sentence accordingly. So first of all, you need to in mind. Since it is the beginning, I am just going to write and show you what is the subject, what is the verb, what is an object. But in the future, you have to have immediately in your mind what is subject, what is verb, what is object. Then you begin to change. So to start it, since it is the first step that we are going ahead with the passive voice, because for some of you, I am sure it is going to be very, very new. Writing the same sentence in active both as well as in passive. So try to remember. Now, this is your subject, okay, and this is your verb, and this is your object. This is your object. Now, if you are going to change this simple present tense sentence from active to passive, remember the rules that we saw yesterday or in my previous video. The first thing is, what are we supposed to do? Yeah, object of the active voice. This is, by the way, this is in active voice. Okay, that also you must be very clear about it. This is in active voice. So, object of the active voice becomes the subject of the passive voice. Okay. Now, so let me write the object here as a subject. Here, letter. Okay. So this is what I mean by subject here. All right. This is what I mean by subject here. You get what I mean? Clear? So this is what I mean subject here. Now, since it is present tense, we have to have the past participle form of the verb according to the subject here. According to the subject. Now, when it comes to third person singular, I will write this is and all that. But since it is first person singular, I have not written here. This is in order to show you how it changes from first person singular to third person singular, because your subject is first person singular in active voice, but when it comes to passive voice, it becomes the third person singular. So therefore, in the present tense, for third person singular, present tense, what is the main verb for third person singular? Is. A letter is, then past participle form of the verb. Now what is the past participle form of the verb? Right here, written. Written. Okay, past participle form of the verb. And then you have the preposition by. By now becomes the object, your object. What is your object here? See, object of the active voice has become the subject of the passive voice, and similarly subject of the active voice becomes the object of the passive voice. So now the table that just now I rubbed or erased comes into the scene here. So I is changed to me. That's why I said in my previous video, if you remember, the subjective pronoun becomes the objective pronoun. Subjective pronoun becomes the objective pronoun without changing the format. See, so I becomes me. Okay, see, so this is the passive voice. Okay, this is the passive voice. This is the passive voice. Got it? Look at the rules, look at the sentences, and we are very sure. Simple present tense. Now we go to first person plural. What is the subject of the first person plural? We. So let me write using the subject we in active voice, then we change into passive voice. Okay, so we write a letter. Okay, so this is active voice. This is active voice. Now look at the subject here. Instead of we, you can write that as subject here. Okay, see, subject. Now I have written R here since it is plural. So, and then depending upon the verb here, see, depending upon the verb, you can change this. Subject plus the past participle form of the verb, then by subject of the active voice. Singular plural. That's why I showed you in the table there. Pronoun table changing from subjective to objective pronouns here. Okay, now, so we is our subject here. Right is our verb, letter is our object. Okay, letter is our object. Now how are we going to change now? Change. Object of the active voice becomes the subject of the passive voice. Here letter. And that is your subject there. That is your subject there. That is your subject there. Now, I am going to write the auxiliary verb before writing the passive form of the main verb here. Now again, a letter. Letter is still a singular subject, but your subject in active voice is plural. Pay close attention, my dear. Pay very close attention. Then only you will be able to understand very clearly. Still the subject is, because we have changed the object of the active voice into the subject of the passive voice. So, a letter remains as singular subject here. So, therefore, subject-verb agreement, if you remember, they have to agree both in person and in number. Okay? So, a letter is written. Written is the past participle form of the verb write. Okay? Then, the preposition by, and now comes the main picture or main word. What does it mean? We. We is the first person plural and that is changed into objective pronoun. So we becomes us. See, a letter is written by us. A letter is written by us. See, for one first person singular and plural, it takes such a long time to understand according to the rules and regulations. This is just like mathematics, my dears. That's why I keep on telling you, grammar is like mathematics. If you understand it very clearly, it becomes very easy and we score 100 out of 100. Very simple. Okay? So, just go through it. A letter is written by us. Go through the rules here and you can write it exactly as it is. You can take any subject, any verb, any object. So, well, now we are talking about only simple present tense. Okay, guys. Any problem here? Any sentence you take. Take for example. See. Usually, what do we do? I draw a picture. I draw a picture. A picture is drawn by me. We draw a picture. A picture is drawn by us. So many sentences we can think of. Again, the same sentence I usually repeat. I teach grammar. Grammar is taught by me. You learn grammar. Grammar is learnt by you. See? Very simple, very simple. So you keep on saying and keep on writing, keep on observing the different usages of verbs in English. So we have entered into the field of passivation, dears, and it's going to be very interesting. And it's going to be very, very calculated because we are learning the active voice to passive voice with the rules and formulas, various formulas. So we follow the formulas, then we will have no problem at all. And our answers will be correct. Always they will be correct. Okay, guys. So let me stop this video for the time being. Otherwise, it will be too tiresome because grammar no. So I have already dealt enough in the substitution table, like showing you the different formation or different forms of pronouns here. And then I told you again, I repeated the general rules. Then I gave the rules of first person singular and plural, the formation of verbs. Then I showed you the example here. So with this, let me stop this video. Just as I told you, watch the video till the end. You will have a better understanding if you listen and if you observe, sitting quietly and observing the video. Okay guys, so until then, see you. If you are watching it for the first time, subscribe the channel, click the bell icon, increase the viewers, increase the subscribers, make use of these videos. Good. See you next time, and it's your teacher signing off from today's video. Thank you.